Hi guys, it is Mandy from Mandyleeplays. You probably already know this, but the Switch has many games with varying degrees of quality and genres. And while this is a good thing, some games fall off the radar, whether it be because of the game or people just don't know that the game is out. And this is where I come in. I'm going to highlight 7 hidden gems that not only need more exposure, but in my opinion, some of these are a must-have in your collection. So let's get the list going. First game on the list is Neon White. Neon White was mostly under my radar until one of my mods wouldn't shut up about it, so I eventually got it, and I haven't beaten the game. I'm only a little bit ways in, and I could tell it's going to be a very fun game, but I don't see a lot of people talking about it, honestly. Now, there is a digital version and a physical version of Neon White, so if you like your games physical, you could probably get it physically. Now, let's do a little bit of math. What happens when you combine a first-person shooter, a 3D platformer, and a little bit of card mechanics in there? You get Neon White. Neon White is a first-person action platformer that emphasizes speed and fast completion times. Because of this, the game heavily encourages finishing stages as fast as possible. The game even has a leaderboard that shows you how fast other players completed the stage. Now, a lot of the qualities in Neon White would probably not be my cup of tea, but when I played it, it was actually really enjoyable. To help you get through the stages, there are items. Now, these items are called soul cards, and you could collect these along the way. Each soul card represents a different weapon. Now, there's more to these soul cards, but to save some time, I'm not going to explain it all. Just know that they are really cool. So there's a lot going on in this indie game, and I cannot help but applaud the people who developed it, because it shows that they put a lot of time and effort putting all these gameplay mechanics in a very fun way. So far, the story is okay. I'm not that far in, but I can tell that this game is mostly a gameplay first, story later kind of game. And you know what? That's alright. You play as a former assassin, aptly named Neon White, who has encountered one of the most cliche plot devices ever. He has amnesia. Now, he was supposed to be sent to hell, but heaven decided to give him and many others a second chance at redemption. To redeem himself, he must deal with the heavy demon infestations that heaven is dealing with. Throughout the story, you can interact with many different characters and learn about their former lives. As you go on, you could gain confidence by doing their challenge missions, interacting with them, or just getting them items that you find throughout the levels. Now, this game has a very high octane strategic card kind of gameplay, and it's actually very addicting once you get into it. That's why I recommend this for the Nintendo Switch, though it's on other platforms as well. This game usually comes in at $40, but it does go on sale every so often. Next one on the list is Nayuta Boundless Trails. Now, I have this one physically, but knowing that it's an NIS kind of game, they don't really have a lot of physical copies printed, but there's also places like VGP who has copies randomly dropping every so often, so keep an eye on that if you really want it physical. Nayuta Boundless Trails is a spin-off to the Trails series, or as people like to call it, the Kaseki series. Now, I want to emphasize this part because I get a lot of questions when people talk about Nayuta Boundless Trails, and that is, do you have to play other Trails games to enjoy Nayuta? The short answer is no, which is honestly really nice because the Kaseki games are very intimidating, especially for newcomers. Trust me, I know, I'm a newcomer. Okay, now to what the game is actually about. In this game, you kick off the adventure of Nayuta, who is returning to his home island from his years of research. However, his return is short-lived because ancient ruins start falling from the sky, leaving behind fragments of a lost civilization, formerly named the Lost Heaven. While being guided by No, I probably mispronounced her name, a fairy who knows a lot about the Lost Heaven and its many different continents. So that is it for the story. Now time for the gameplay. Now, Nayuta ditches the turn-based battles in favor for a more real-time action RPG. If I could compare the gameplay, it's kind of like the Yeast games, but with a heavier emphasis on platforming and chaining hits. I love chaining combos and stuff. That's my cup of tea. And as a standalone narrative, it's really fun and engaging. It's a simple and fun JRPG adventure on the Nintendo Switch, and I highly recommend you guys guys check it out. Alright, so the next game, I'm gonna need to do a little bit of explaining because this game I know won't be everybody's cup of tea. I just wanted to put it on this list because it's kind of a hidden gem. Anyways, bear with me. The next game on this list is Endless Oceans Luminous. Yeah, the game that came out a few weeks ago. Now, Endless Oceans Luminous got very low scores. I'm not arguing that these scores are not fair. They're actually pretty accurate. And I was really surprised that this game has a series attached to it. So Endless Oceans is actually a series, but you don't really have to play the previous games to play Endless Ocean Luminous. Now, with all the negative stuff I said about this game, there is a reason I put this on this list, because Endless Ocean Luminous is very relaxing. It's a really chill game. Now, if you're really scared about underwater and things like that, you probably won't like the game at all. But for me, I just put it on to just relax, find some fish, and explore the ocean. Now, I have over 15 hours in this game, which is wild, but that's how addicting it is. I just got so relaxed playing it that I don't really mind the negative stuff. Though I will say I wish that the game had more upgradable stuff like moving faster or bigger lights or clear ocean. So I would have loved some upgrades when it comes to the diver itself. And the story is pretty trash. Now, when you play the story, there are several check marks you have to complete before continuing, because you have to find a total of 5,000 fish, and then for the next chapter you have to find 6,000 fish, and it could just get a lot for a story that's not even worth it, honestly. So I highly recommend you just do the exploration type of gameplay instead of the story. And I also love to catalog different items and to discover new fish. It will take you to very shallow waters, to coral reefs, and the deepest part of the ocean where sunlight cannot reach. And your diver doesn't seem to be human because he does not blow up under the pressure of the really deep ocean. So overall, this game is great when it comes to relaxing. If you want to explore, catalog, learn about fish, this game is right up your alley. Though if you want an action combat game with mechanics and lore and stuff, yeah, you're not gonna get that from this game. You're probably gonna hate this game. I want to emphasize, this game is not for everybody. It's for a very niche type of person who just wants to relax and look at fishes. That's it. But when this game goes on sale, because it's eventually gonna go on sale, I do recommend maybe checking it out if you enjoy this type of game. Alrighty, so the next game is a really fun one, and that is Needy Streamer Overload. Alright, so this game is a bit crazy, but I love it. Now, recently, Serenity Forge, the people who published Needy Streamer Overload, has released a physical version of the game that comes out in November, but you can buy it digitally on the eShop. Okay, so Needy Streamer Overload is basically a Tamagotchi-like game for streamers. So you take control of this streamer and you become her manager, and it's up to you to dictate what this streamer does. You are tasked with growing her audience, giving her ideas on what to stream and what kind of content that she covers. And it's actually cute because whenever she starts stream, she does this whole magical girl transformation. Oh, and her live stream name is Oh My God Kawaii Angel. Yeah, that's what you're working with. But her actual name is Ami. Now, you're not only tasked with managing her live streams, you're also tasked with managing her life. Now, when I played this game the first time, because there's different endings, I thought I had this in the bag. I'm a content creator, I'm a live streamer, I could do this. But I'm not gonna tell you my ending because that's spoilers, but yeah, she didn't end up in the right place. But needless to say, managing her IRL is kind of like the hardest part, because you have to keep track of her stress levels, affection, and mental health. Yeah, you got your work cut out for you. If these stats go unmanaged, then you will get a slew of different endings. And as the game goes further, not everything is roses and sunshines. As you start peeling away Amni's personality, the game starts to get a bit heavy-handed and dark at times. So that is the story. What about the gameplay? Now, there's not much to the gameplay. It's kind of like a visual novel, but there are some gameplay mechanics, like keeping track of Omni's stress levels, mental health, and all that. Also, picking a stream idea and then doing the stream. Now, I find this really funny because they can't really depict a 2-hour or 3-hour stream. Instead, you go live for like a minute or two, and that's the live stream. Oh, and you also have to manage your chat as well. Omni does not like haters at all. So yeah, I highly recommend this streamer Tamagotchi game. It is really fun. Now, this game will run you like about $20. It's on Steam and it's on the Nintendo Switch. Next game on the list is Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. Now recently they announced a Sakuna anime, which is pretty hype. Back to Sakuna the game. This game will run you about $30, but it's so worth the price. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin puts you in control of Princess Sakuna, who is a very spoiled goddess.
Hate this. I hate it. I hate it. I'll die if I leave the capital.
Though everything changes when a group of humans stumble their way into the realm of gods, which is a big oof. How does someone accidentally go to the realm of gods? Did they make the wrong turn? I don't know. Now Sakuna confronts them, then chaos ensues. She actually burns a lot of the holy rice in this realm because of her participation or lack of doing anything right. Sakuna, along with the humans, have been banished to this island called Hino Island, an island who has a lot of demon problems, and as you could assume, your task is to rid the demons and grow some rice. Now for the gameplay, there are two types of gameplay if you really think about it. There's this more action-packed demon hunting mode, and then there's the rice harvesting mode. Now I did like the rice harvesting way more than the demon hunting, but you still need to do demon hunting not only to rid the demons but to get new ingredients for your rice farm. Now for the rice mechanics, you learn ancient harvesting techniques, you will learn how to properly till the land, different methods of planting the seeds, watering levels, and when it's the perfect time to harvest the rice. Now for me, I really loved the growing rice mechanic. I found that really satisfying and fun. That's just one side of the gameplay. Then there's the one where you hunt demons. Now this is the mode where you will get a lot of combat. You go through levels that are filled with many different demons that rule the island. In combat, the game combines a side-scrolling platformer with some action RPG elements, and it does have a lot of hack and slash too. Now there are items to help you, and depending on what type of rice you ate, it gives you some stat bonuses too. Overall, I really loved Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. The game is just so relaxing, especially with the rice, and this game should not be overlooked, and I am waiting for a Sakuna 2. If that ever comes out, I will be so excited. Now the next game is Apollo Justice. Now the Phoenix Wright games are not hidden gems at all. They're actually really popular, but not really Apollo Justice. It's kind of like the black sheep of the family. It is really surprising to talk about Apollo Justice and saying that I enjoyed my time with the game, but I do acknowledge the flaws. And trust me, there's a lot of flaws. Now, when Apollo Justice released, it came out with mixed reactions, especially off the heels of the masterclass that is the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Apollo Justice was like doomed to fail from the start. A lot of people in the fandom are really vocal about this game, and I'm just like, it wasn't that bad. Now this game is weird in a lot of ways, but the first one being, Phoenix Wright is not a playable character. Instead, you play as Apollo Justice. Now Apollo is a rookie defense lawyer, but funny enough, even though Phoenix Wright is a side character, the game still feels like a Phoenix Wright game because we're focused on his story most of the time. But there's a host of new characters as well, like Trucy, which is basically the stand-in for Maya, the prosecutor lawyer Clavicus. Now if you played a Phoenix Wright game, that's basically how you play Apollo Justice. The gameplay is mostly cross-examination, presenting evidence, and questioning the witness. But they did add a lot of gimmicks, but honestly, I really didn't like the gimmicks, mostly because you could only use them for like one trial and then you forget it. And while the trials are a bit lackluster in the game, especially compared to the other ones, it was still a fun time. So why is Apollo Justice on this list? Well, basically, I feel like a lot of people don't give it a chance, so I wanted to spotlight Apollo Justice because it's actually a really good game. Not the best, but it's still really solid. Alright, lastly on the list is Katamari Damacy Reroll. Now you can buy Katamari Damacy physically, though it tends to come in and out of stock, but you can buy this game digitally in the eShop. Now this game was originally released for the PlayStation 2 and it was very obscure, and even now it's pretty obscure, but that's kind of the charm. Now for the story, you play as a prince who is the son of King of Cosmo, who who, in a drunken celebration, accidentally destroyed all the stars and planets in the universe, besides Earth of course. Because of his drunken weirdness, the king tasked his own son to clean up his mess to restore the cosmos. So yeah, the king is not a very good dad or person. Now you clean up the mess by rolling a bunch of stuff into what is called a Katamari, which is like a very sticky ball, kind of like how dung beetles roll their dung. Now you could stick all sorts of stuff into this Katamari ball, like people, animals, furniture, signs, and even buildings. Controlling Katamari might be a little weird, especially for the first time, but once you get used to it, it's pretty fun. In summary, Katamari Damacy Reroll is a very enjoyable game and I highly recommend. So that is it for my list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please hit that like button if you like, and if you like my content and would love to see more, then please smash that subscribe button. We're on our road to 7K. Let me know any hidden gems that you recommend in the comments down below. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and as always, play a good game. Peace, peace.